friend from Pennsylvania, Mr. Lloyd Smucker, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to just follow up, Mr. Gupta, on the conversation that occurred there. I'll say, there are some things I think we agree on. One, we want to try to lift people out of poverty and give everyone a chance to live their own American dream. There was, just in context, a group in my area, was a Democrat mayor of the largest city in my district that did a study on poverty. And out of that came sort of an effort to bring together all of the different organizations. And the report was called One Good Job. And the intent, or sort of the end goal, was to connect as many people as possible with a great family-sustaining job. We also agree that, I think we all believe we're fortunate to live in a country where there is a safety net for people who are not able to access and provide for themselves. But based on some of your comments, I just want to ask you, do you think everyone who should be working or could be working should be?
Absolutely. We should try to make sure there's a good job for all of them.
And how would, people who are relying on government programs now, we want to move them, which was, again, the intent, the goal of this program. It was the success was measured by putting people on that ladder of upward mobility by connecting them with a good paying job. How would you accomplish that for people who are not currently there today?
Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you, Representative Smucker, for the line of questions. So,
and I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, so we do have employment jobs programs, some of which would actually likely be cut, unfortunately, under the bill. But it turns out that the programs themselves, by giving people that very basic foundation we all need, food, healthcare, actually does help them. We saw this with the child tax credit expansion. People spent money on things that help them do more, work more. More childcare, for example, would be a great way for us to promote more employment.
Yeah. And so I literally don't understand why you think that work requirements would work against that. Why would we not want to do everything we can to encourage people who can to take a job or to do everything they can to find a job? Why is that so bad?
Yeah, it turns out it expands bureaucracy, red tape. It bumps a lot of people off benefits who shouldn't be bumped off, even under the rules. And it just adds a lot of stress and would create a lot more challenges for people who are just trying to have that basic foundation. It's much easier to find a job and do well when you're well-fed and you've got health care you need. People who are accessing substance use disorder treatment, for example, they could lose that. I think that would help them get a job.
I think your position misses the importance of incentives and of ensuring that we are trying to incentivize the right thing to help people access a good job. I want to get back. There's one other issue, Ms. Gressler. And I want to submit for the record, Mr. Chairman, if I may, CBO's April 2023 report titled Expired and Expiring Authorizations of Appropriations for Fiscal Year 2023.
Without objection, so ordered.
And let's see here. The House and Senate rules require that all spending in appropriations bills be authorized by law. But this particular report by CBO reports that $1.7 trillion in fiscal year 2023 in the omnibus included, the omnibus of $1.7 trillion included $510 billion in appropriations for unauthorized or expired programs. Is that any concern to you?
Yes.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I think that's over 400 programs that are currently
428 programs, I think.
Unauthorized or expiring, and that is Congress's job to make sure that they are funding only the programs that have been authorized and that are still supposed to be funded. There is the Unauthorized Spending Accountability Act of 2023.
I don't even understand how we can today spend it, because very clearly House Rule 21 prohibits spending for unauthorized or expired programs, yet we spend $500 billion on this type of spending. How is that happening, and what can we do to stop it?
Well, it's happening because there's still funding being appropriated for them, even though they are not authorized. And so, as I mentioned, the Unauthorized Spending Accountability Act of 2023 would essentially expire all those unauthorized programs after 3 years if Congress doesn't explicitly reauthorize them and fund them.
Do you think, as an individual member or members together, do you think we'd have an opportunity to object to unauthorized spending during consideration of appropriations bill? And if so, how would that be done?
Yeah, I think not just an opportunity, but an obligation. that funds should not be going to programs that are unauthorized.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank the gentleman from Pennsylvania.